This is my suit. I'll call it that way. I'm becoming so proud wearing this. For every time when I just put my gear on, I get inspired. And that's it. So I'm used to it.
So this attire matches you as a Shihan. If you were a sensei, it would be different.
No, it's still the same.
It's still
karate.
The same.
Only what differs now is the belt.
The belt.
That's where now they see you. Oh, there's first, then you'll see the first belt, the second, third, then you become now sixth. Then I'm a Renchi now.
Oh.
No more a Shihan.
Yeah.
Now above now.
Above now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to me.
Let's catch up by educating our listeners, especially those that are not familiar with the sport of karate. When we talk about karate, what are we talking about?
When we talk about karate, number one, it doesn't mean that you put a karate suit, then you train, you can be specialist to kicks what. Firstly, respect your behavior outside, not in the dojo where you are training only. In your community, you must be a respectful somebody and have manners. That's number one step. And then coming to your dojo also, that's why in karate, it's a sport of, respect comes number one. Yes, you must do that. That's why when you start as a karateka, wearing a white belt, you are a kohai. From there, you're going to the senpai. Senpai, you go again to now brown belt, you go on, then from there you get the sensei. So all these divisions, you keep on respecting, and the sensei must respect the kohais and all. Respect is the most thing we are pushing. And then the second one is that after now you have reached a shodan, then black belt, you go to the first then. And it's not easy going there now. Now there they want a lot of things. Your physique, what you do, karate now, your discipline, and now you know how to defend yourself. Because now they are teaching you. When they were still in Japan, in those days, it's like at school. They take you, they put you in a class showing you the parts of the body to a human being. If you strike somebody there to the soul, how does he react? If you strike and using your hand, which part of the body of somebody you can hurt him? Or rather than, you find somebody, most people punching somebody to the chest here. You don't hurt him. But the solar plexus, the jaws, that's why you watch the boxers. Maybe I can make an example easy way. The boxers, no matter how heavy he is, but a punch to the jaws, down, he goes down. Punch to the solar plexus, to the ribs. Those are the important parts in a human being. To the private parts, to the joints of the knee. So that's what karate teaches you. And it teaches you now what part of your body to kick there, of your foot, of your fist, what part, your fingers are also you can defend yourself with your fingers. To the face, there are a lot of things. To the solar plexus. That's what I say, karate. Then there you are in Shodan, you're going in now. You learn all those things. You have had your hands, you can use your legs. You had your foot, you can use your hands. So that is karate. Karate means empty hands. Oh, sir.
Wow, 14:07 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we are talking about the exciting sport of karate. We are blessed with the presence of Shihan Peter Tache together with Shihan Isaac Mashinini.
Yes.
Please do explain Shihan Isaac Mashinini to our listeners. How did you meet?
That's a good story. That's why I'm saying so far. Not to say I'm praising Shihan Isaac or myself. He is a legend. A legend. We are more than 50 years in this sport. More than 50. We are now above 70. I'm 71. Shihan is older than me now. So, we are long in this field. Now, a story which is very interesting. Shihan Mashinini was staying, when we were still young, those days in Katlehong. I was in Katlehong. I was born in Germiston. Then my parents moved. It was called Natal Spruit in those olden days. Right. We were in the same street, but we didn't know each other. We grew up there, still young, to the lower primary school. We start knowing each other when one is just in the matric. This and he loved karate. He started karate also. I've started karate. You. Then we start knowing each other. Oh, there in the 60s. Then we move on. Till today, we're still together. We're still doing the same thing, karate. We never left. We have trained a lot of people, others are doctors and what. Same thing with me. The only thing which now is differentiate us is that after Sosai died, the master of the founder of Full Contact in the whole world, after he died, his students start opening up the dojos or the style, But all in all of them, they still follow the footstep of Sosai, right? It's called Kyokushinkai. Kyokushinkai means ultimate truth. They're still doing that. Now, Shihan Mashinin went to the student of Sosai. I also went to the student of Sosai, even though he has passed on, Shihan Tezuka. And then the one for Shihan Mashinin, it's Midori, Kenny Midori. That guy, he was the first in the world champion for many world tournaments which used to be organized by the founder of karate, Masutatsu Oyama. He was moving number one. Was very good with kicks and what. So my Kancho, Tezuka, he was good. We were right in the tournaments, but they were very good, all of them. There are many who have been trained by Sosai. So then there's Nakamura, there's Tezuka, there's Matsushima. There are quite many of them. And then, but what makes me happy, they are together. They are still working hand to hand. They don't change the way Sosai wanted everything to be. So to cut a long story short, then also here in South Africa, doesn't mean that we don't work together. We're still doing Full Contact, but it's in Shin, Tezuka, there's Nakamura. We have formed now Full Contact Karate South Africa, right? Once you have formed this karate, it's still the same style because there's semi-contact, there are so many. Some of them, I don't know how they're doing. I'm focused on my style, which is Full Contact. So we have formed this structure. This structure is affiliated to the World Full Contact Karate. Now, the boss there, the guy who decided to have about 100 countries, they're affiliated there, and he's the president of that world. So the president there is the one who have unified all these guys. Guess what? Now, Shihan Mashinini, he's there. He's practicing Shin, right? So then he trained him. He knows how good he is. That is why the whole year he never influenced somebody. They've seen Shihan Mashinin, that's why they call him African Tiger, going to our America, to going to where karate has made us, I've explained last, we have traveled the whole world. But we still have respect to the Japanese. They are the founders of karate, right? Coming from Sosai Oyama. I don't know whether I've never heard of another guy, whatever. So I still respect that. So what is happening now? Shihan Mashinini, the most important thing now, which has made me happy and excited. Right? Last time you remember when I was here, I mentioned that April I was going to Japan. I went to Japan. Reason going there, it was preparation for the world tournament. Now, when I was in Japan in April this year, it was the Tezuka style, my style, right? And they were all preparing for the world tournament, which was in the July the 31st, May the 31st and the 1st of June. So I never be able to go down there due to our government. I'm sorry to say it. All these years, since we're about 71 years, I've never been sponsored by, even the same to Shihan Machine, by our government. Nothing. We're struggling out of our own pockets. So I couldn't make it, and what pains me more, some of the fighters who have done together, Shihan Mashinini and the committee of Full Contact Karate, we have trained the students, we selected the top fighters to go and represent our country. Money, they could not go. Shihan managed to go with 2 or 3 students. Everybody, the parents must just assemble some certain money, then they had to go. But the good news, those fighters which you left, they fought. All right, they fought. You know, sometimes it's so painful for a world tournament. You train, you're not sure whether you're going or you're coming or whatever. So they fought very well. Shihan Mashinini told me that, all right. But the most important thing which we have achieved as South Africa, he was elected to be in a board of directors. So that's an achievement. And our country, they don't know about that. They don't even come, congratulations, whatever, to show that maybe karate, it's one sport which they are not paying any attention. That's why there are so many gangsters in the township. The kids are smoking dach and all those things. Instead of using us, you know, to train our kids, assisting us to build these kids to be disciplined people. Karate is a disciplined sport. So that's why I said to Shihan Mashinini, Shihan, please, we are going there because now what makes us to come now to Channel Africa? Myself, I've been appointed as to be in charge of Africa, right? Shihan Mashinini also, he's in charge of Africa. Now he's our leader in whole world. He's the one now. He must choose his committee now. He's the one who's going to control the board of full contact in the whole world. Are the ones now who are going to communicate with Shihan Mashinini. He's the one now. He's the president. He's the boss here in Africa. So we are so proud of him. I repeated many times, I said, Shihan, this is the history we have made for our country.
That's the voice of Shihan Pitataghe talking about the challenges they are experiencing in the sport of karate. But of course, we're still going to talk to Shihan Isaac, African Tiger Mashinini, and find out more about some of these challenges and the mechanisms that can be brought on board for the sport of karate to thrive, because it's not just a competition sport. You can use it for self-defense, but also, like Shihan Pitataghe has alluded, you can also help the young people out there not to get involved in drug abuse and substance abuse, but get involved in the sport of karate. Shihan Pitataghe, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play.
Osa, arigato.
We take a short break. When we come back, we will have a conversation with the African Tiger, Shihan Isaac Mashinini. This is Africa at Play, as Deleli Shaya.
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective. The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Interracial relationships. And now you are based in the States and you are married to a beautiful white woman, white lady.
I learned that, for us in our culture, we literally can speak our mind. I remember when we had started dating and whatnot, and, she picked up like a little bit of weight. And maybe me, I was like, oh, wow, you must be happy in this relationship because look at you. You look great. You've been picking up some weight. And she got really, really offended. And it took I think it was about a couple of hours before I could realize that, because I could tell that she was off after that. And it took me a while to figure out what it was. Until later when I was talking to her, I'm like, you were really, really off today. And then she expressed that, yeah, because you're telling me that I'm picking up some weight. And I'm like, in my culture, when you are gaining some weight, it means you're happy. Yes. So that's what I was trying to imply.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. You heard something you like on Channel Africa, and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast. Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
14:18 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play as Deleli Shaya. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you're here in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available on SABC+. We are still in the middle of an incredible karate conversation, and we now welcome to Africa at Play, Shihan Isaac, African Tiger Mashinini. Shihan Mashinini, very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Hosiamin, thank you very much for having me.
Mijanos.
I forgive.
Kanimam.
And I'm impressed because it has Delele Siashai.
Uh-huh.
Now you're talking about us. In full contact as Delele Siashai.
Very true.
Us.
Thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us about the mother body of karate, the World Karate Organization, Shinkyokun Shinkai.
The mother body of Shinkyok Shinkai was started in 1995. As my senior alluded to, Shihan Peter Tache. In 1994, the founder of Kyok Shinkai, the legend, the late Sosai Masutatsu Oyama, may his soul rest in peace, died. And after his death, the branch chiefs had a global meeting where it was said that, look, because in Japan the will is normally attested by the family court, so there was a bit of a problem with the will. But the branch chief said, look, let's agree in principle to say whoever is supposedly the successor, let him be the successor. However, he will not work solo. He will work with the branch chiefs. Unfortunately, that did not happen. It happened for a very short space of time. The individual started doing his own thing. It led to breakaways. The first style to break away was Shinkyok Shinkai. Then they were called Kyokushin. But then there were a number of splits which were also called Kyokushin. So it was confusing to the outside world. I was in the board of WKO, World Karate Organization. We then took a resolution that we needed a sense of identity. And we felt that let's put a prefix in front of the word Kyokushinkai, which is Shin. Shin means first. So what we meant is that first Kyokushinkai. We then had a number of presidency. The last president, who is still the president to date, is Kenji Midori. And I wish to explain a little bit about Kenji Midori, the technician. He was one of Sosai's top technicians. In Japan, or even here, when you are a full-time student, we call you an ushideshi, a full-time student. He was a full-time student. In 1984, during the third world tournament, he was weighing 55 kilograms. He demonstrated the rules. In 1984-87, the fourth world tournament, he fought in the tournament, and he lost to Michael Thompson from England. He then went home and trained for one individual. He was training to defeat Michael Thompson. In 1991, now this was a year of history. Before I touch on him, let me touch a little bit about myself. My father died in 1991 before I went to Japan to fight because I fought in the third, the fourth, and the fifth world tournament. So in terms of the culture, some were saying I mustn't go and fight, but my mother said, no, go and go and dedicate that fight to your father. And I went. When we arrived in Japan, we met a number of fighters. Amongst them were Japanese fighters. Now, the Japanese champ was Yasuhiro Tamura. He came to me because their English is not good. And he said to me, all Japan champion. So what does that have to do with me? Me, you, tomorrow fight. I said, oh, listen here. Me, all Africa tournament champion. We'll meet tomorrow.
African time.
Yes. And I told my student, Sensei Bongani Mbizo, I said, Sensei, I'm going to defeat this guy. He says, hey, Sensei, you're in trouble. This guy is the All Japan champion. I said, who am I? And that's exactly what I did the next day. Then I was named by the outside world. They gave me the name the African Tiger after defeating the All Japan champion. Somebody who was earmarked to win the tournament. Guess who won the tournament? My president, Kenji, the technician Midori. And like Shantache said, normally all the world champions were people who were weighing above 90. Kenji Midori, Shihan, was weighing 72 kilograms. And he fought people who were 125, 100 kilograms, 90, and he defeated not just defeating them by small margins, through knockouts. He kicks like a donkey's bed, if I may put it that way. And he became the world champion. So Shin went through a number of presidents. The last president, who's still the president to date, is Kenji Midori. He came up with a number of progressive, proposals. One, he's the man that said, guys, let's put a prefix. It was adopted. He is the man that said, good, Shin is now the top style in the world. And I'm not boasting. Shantake can attest to that. He said it was not enough. What Sosai left, he left a united Kyokushinkai. Now they are diversified. I want to unite them. We gave him our blessings. He started what we call, firstly, JFKO, Japan Full Contact Karate Organization. He had about 95% of the Japanese branch chiefs supporting him in what he wanted to do. They then started the JFKO. He said, fine, we have achieved this goal now. The next goal is the WFKO, the World Full Contact Karate Organization. It was welcomed by countries who are more than 100. I'm just from Japan last month. There was a tournament. There were more than 60 countries participating, but the number of countries that are affiliated is 126 to this full contact karate organization. Now, that to us came as a blessing in that full contact suffered during the apartheid era, immensely so, because the whites were having all the resources which we never had. They were getting all the funding which we never got. They got the colors which we never got. Okay, so and when we had a meeting with SASCOC, the semi-contact would lambast us and say, you guys do not have a world body. We have a world body, meaning semi-contact, which is WKF. Now, when he initiated WFKO, it was embraced by almost everybody. Now, they elected the committee, they elected the board. They said, now we need one representative to represent Africa. Unanimously so. All of them said, there's only one person, Isaac, the African tiger. And when I received the message, I was shocked. But at the same time, I said, thanks God. Because I really want to, Shian, Take and I are not here to market ourselves. We want to leave a legacy to our kids. We want to leave a legacy. And we want to ensure that before the Almighty God decides to say, guys, you have overstayed your welcome, we leave a legacy. And our kids must be free. Our kids should be able to go and participate worldwide, get colors, get funding, which we are currently not getting. Like you said, we're just from Japan now. We struggled. Some of the students could not even go because of financial constraints. Now we want those to be a story of the past. However, I must give credit to one person. The first minister after our democracy, Ngonde Balfour. He did something that has never been done before. He called all karate together. He said, this nonsense that only one style must dominate over the others is coming to a stop now. I want a committee. And I want a structure that should be having two legs, semi-contact, full contact. However, the management committee should be one, comprised of 50-50. 50% semi-contact, 50% full contact. I was elected as the deputy president of that structure for 3 consecutive terms. Now, Ngonde Balfour is no longer there. 2012, somebody came up with something clandestine, and that was nullified. Now, Shiantache, myself, and Shandwandile Ngapai went to KZN because the president of KZN is of Karate South Africa, which is KSA, resides in Durban. We had a meeting with him to say, look, the time has come now that we should also take our rightful place. We deadlocked. We had another meeting in Joburg, we deadlocked. We said, look, we have now followed all the protocol. The next channel that is available to us is to channel our grievance to SASCO. And if you fail at Saskok, the next avenue is going to be the minister. Thanks God, we had a meeting with Saskok. We were well met. They understood where we were coming from. And they agreed that we cannot say we're in our democracy when the black people are still suffering. Let me put it to you this way. Semi-contact is practiced predominantly by 80% whites. Full contact is practiced by 80% blacks who come from the poorest of the poorest. Some of the kids, these garments that we're wearing, this is a key. We have to buy them keys. They can't even afford a key. When there are tournaments, we have to pay for their transport. We have to pay for their accommodation because they can't afford. And how do you leave a student that is outshining everybody in the dojo, committee-wise, the best fighter? How do you leave him out? This is why today I'm proud to say I have 2 such students that I used to fund from my own pocket. Today they're top business people. And I'm not ashamed to name them. And they come from Limpopo. Not because we are from Limpopo, but they come from Limpopo. Since I know many minutes, a mining guru comes from Limpopo. When he was at TUT, I used to fund everything, tournament, accommodation and everything. Since I see Chauke from Winterfeld, today is a top businessman. But they haven't forgotten. They keep on plowing back to karate. And they will always say, Shian Mashinini will never forget you. We came from the poorest of the poorest, but you cared for us. Therefore, I'm saying we are not here to blow our own trumpets. We want karate, specifically full contact, to take its rightful place. The only problem that we have is like in any sphere, be it in Christianity, in politics, or wherever, there will always be those who pull to the left. But nonetheless, we are fighting for everybody. We want full contact to be recognized as much as it is recognized in the world. We have a world body now. We had our first tournament on the 31st and the 1st of June. There were 414 participants. Something that has never happened before. People came from different styles, different organizations. And we proved, because our ultimate goal is to be recognized by the Olympics. We want full contact to be part of the Olympics in future. That is our ultimate goal. And we are busy with that. And I, for one, when I was appointed as a board member, because it's a milestone, it's an achievement. A black person from the dusty streets of Winterfeld, to be at the top of the world, it's an achievement. And I still say to date, I'm dedicating that to my late father, who kept on pushing me all the time. Because when I was a young man growing up in Katlohong, I was very naughty. And he enrolled me in karate. Today, I'm not disappointed, because the purpose of my agreeing to be enrolled in a karate dojo was to train for 3 months and become a boss of a gangster, because then gangsterism was something very rife. Little did I know that karate was a disciplined sport. After 3 months, my instructor called me. Mashinini, take a seat. And I was worried, what have I done? He says, little young man, you are a champion material. I said, me? He said, yes. He said, only if you can persevere. I am not disappointed. I was the first black person to become a South African heavyweight champion, a title I held for years. And in 1990, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. In 1990, at the Pretoria University, during the national tournament, my dojo is a club, one club, not a region, not a province. Out of 5 divisions, we won 4 divisions. The lightweight was won by my student, Eric Ndlovu, who's now late, may his soul rest in peace. The middleweight was won by Sinsebonga Mbisa. Right? The other, was won also by my student. The only division that was taken by another dojo was Shiantake's student, Sensei, the B, Leonard Nketsi. He won the light heavy. I fought in the final with Shian Henny Bosman, who was weighing over 120 kilograms, and I was 83. but I defeated. I was able to conquer him for 2 consecutive years. 1990 in Pretoria, 1991 in Durban. As they say, dynamites come in small packets. So I have earned this. I'm not claiming. And so is Shiantake. Shiantake, when Sosai was here in 1980, he was the first person from the East Rand, from this area, to fight in the final. Who did he fight in the final? He fought my instructor, Sincere Mkis, in the presence of the founder of Kyokushinkai, the late Masutatsu Oyama. Therefore, our main goal now, and the task that I was given in Japan, is to ensure that full contact is practiced all over Africa.
Talking about all over Africa, what is the current state of full contact in Africa?
Very good question. We have already started. Namibia is already organized. Zimbabwe is already organized. Zambia, we're busy organizing. Tunisia, organized. Morocco, etc., etc. So we are busy. But currently, it's moving at a very fast rate.
If you have just joined us, we are joined by the greats of the sport of karate. We've got Shihan Pitatake together with Shihan Isaac, African Tiger Mashinini. How did you get that nickname of African Tiger?
That name was given to me in 1991 during the 5th World Tournament, when I defeated the All Japan champion, Yasuharu Tamura. If you can see the video, you'll be shocked, because the man was over 100 kg. Poor Mashinini was 83. But I used to catch him with both heels on the head. I had trained like nobody's business. I used to train weightlifting for 2 hours. Go to the dojo. The dojo is a club. 2 hours. Go home, leave my car, run for an hour. Daily. And it paid dividends in Japan. To date, now during the tournament last month, we met the head of Ashihara, and he said, is this the same Mashinini who defeated the All Japan champion? They said, yes, that's him. He said, very strong man, very strong. You, very strong. I remember, you defeat Tamura. Pleased to meet you. So it shows that it's still embedded in people's minds what I did then. So that's where I got the name from.
Shihan Mashinini, the president of karate in Africa. Let's talk about 2 things that I believe are of paramount significance. You and Shihan Tahe raised that you want to leave a legacy, leave karate at a desired level. How would you like to achieve that, and what are you going to do moving forward to make certain that you achieve that? But also, the principals that are listening to this conversation, it could be the ministers of sport in different African countries that could assist by endorsing karate in their respective countries to get karate to that desired level, especially the full contact where a black child still suffers.
That's a very good question. Very good question. Our aim is to spread this art of full contact throughout Africa. That can only be done through the assistance of the various sports ministers of the various countries, by assisting us and their fellow karatekas to ensure that if we request to meet all the full contact components, they must assist. Give us the venue where we can meet. Give us a venue where we can train, because the only way whereby we can be able to say we are doing something similar is through gashkus. A gashku is training. Now, in Kyokushin or Shin Kyokushinkai or full contact, when we train, the method of teaching is twofold. There's what we call Kihon Geiko, doing all the techniques standing. Punches, strikes, blocks, kicks, standing. Then there's what we call Ido Geiko, moving up and down. That's Ido Geiko. And thereafter, katas. It is key. You cannot be a senior belt if you cannot do katas. Katas, are key. This is why when you grade from whatever grade to the next grade, we look at 1, your physical strength. the fitness. 2, basics. Basics, like I said, twofold. Idogeko, idogeko. 3, katas. The 4th one is kumite fighting now. And remember, we don't pull back. That's why I said, as the release shy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Came to the right place.
Absolutely. Fighting. So, in the process of formulating full contact throughout the African states, I'll also be ensuring that we have kashkus on regular basis. Not only kashkus pertaining to basics and whatnot, but also refereeing. Because when there's a tournament, the success of the tournament is dependent upon good refereeing, not biased refereeing, good refereeing. Now, through all those things, we will say we are having a very good world full contact component. And I'm prepared. I'm sitting with a legend, Shihan Pieter-Taghe. We'll be going around with him. One person that was also requested to assist in this course is Sensei Nomani Mnis. I was with him in Japan. We had a meeting with the executive director, Shihan Yasuka Azukoi, and he was requested, and he said he's ready to assist.
We've run out of time, but I would like to find out, when are you meeting the Minister of Sport? And if you haven't confirmed the date, in case he's listening, what would you like to say to him, Minister Gayton McKenzie?
First and foremost, I'm happy and I want to congratulate the Honorable Minister for having been appointed the Minister of Sport. He's a very energetic and he's a very fair person. He has demonstrated his fairness, which we appreciate. And I'm sure he will give us an audience to listen to our pleas. Because not only our pleas, it's our pleas, it's the parents' pleas. Some of the parents are MPs. They serve at parliament levels. So I'm pleading with the minister. For example, I must say this. We are having a tournament next month in Durban, 2nd and 3rd. We have written a letter to the minister. We have invited the minister. We'll appreciate if the minister can welcome that letter and say, look, people, I'll be there. Because the minister is not only a minister for a certain style, or he's a minister of all the styles. Poor or not poor, good or not, but he's the minister of everybody. And I've seen that the minister likes karate. And we're pleading with him to attend our tournament. We'll appreciate. Not only that, next year, we are planning to have a national tournament. Now, when we bring the national tournament, it will be under WKO. But remember, WKO is the one that initiated WFKO. So in all our tournaments, all the various styles come to participate. We'll be inviting President Midori. He'll be here next year. And at that juncture, we want our minister to be there. But we want things to happen, even prior.
A final one from me. It's because of time. I want to continue, but the clock keeps saying no. Footballers usually retire around between 35 and 40. Very few of them overlap to 40, the likes of Roger Miller from Cameroon, Siyabonga Pele Nomvete, former Kaizer Chiefs and Bafana striker. But a lot of them, they call it quits in their late 30s. But in karate, it's a different case. At over 70, you are turning 72. Shihan Pieter-Taghe is 71, but you are still active. What's the secret?
The secret is one. I said the style is a disciplined sport. We don't partake in liquor. We don't smoke. We don't indulge in other things I don't want to mention. We are disciplined. Karate is like Christianity. You need to be a disciplined individual. But more than any other thing, it's hard training. You've said a mouthful. I'm 72. I'll be 72 in December. Just now, I believe there's going to be a mini demonstration. I will show you that I can still kick the head with ease. You know one of my students, whom I need to mention, Shamponizer. Shamponizer is one of my top students. We had an interview previously. People saw how Shamponizer can kick. I trained Shamponizer from childhood. Now, the Mawashi that he applied, the Jordan Mawashi, which is what my legend here, Shantache, used to excel with, I will demonstrate just now. So, as they say, Ukuka Otandayo.
True indeed.
Ukuka Otandayo. If you discipline yourself and you look at you look after your body, your health and everything, and you train hard. Let me say this, and it's quite befitting that I must say this. The person who started Kyokushinkai in South Africa, never mind Africa, is the late Hanshi Lenbans from Cape Town. May his soul rest in peace. That man, during the era of Zimbabwe, when Zimbabwe was Rhodesia, he used to come to South Africa because he learned the art from the sailors who were coming from Japan. He introduced the art. I don't know how many times he was arrested by the apartheid era to say, you did not teach blacks karate. He said, I will teach them. Now, if it wasn't Shan Lenbans, none of us would be knowing anything about Kyokushinkai. This is why we, as Full Contact, we are going to have a tournament in honor of the late Hanshi Lenbans.
Let me say thank you to the greats for bracing us with their presence on Africa at Play. My good sir, thank you so much. Shehan Isaac, African Tiger Mashinini. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. The conversation is quite exciting. It's just the time that is not on our side.
And to the listeners or the viewers, let me say, arigato gozaimashita. Arigato gozaimashita means thank you very much.
Arigato gozaimashita.
I don't know us.
There you have it. The tongue has changed to Chinese now. This is Africa at Play, 14:45 Central African Time. Thank you for choosing Africa's number one. It's time for Africa and the world to dance. Gologosa featuring Tyra Chutney from Rwanda. Africa at Play. Enjoy.
Years of great sporting action is as good as a lifetime because the legends stay on.
Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire. Sinan Cindy, Sinadin Cindy, Mopado Mixa. Oh, listen, get dollar. Don't wake up, Mazima. Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Father. Yellow sa, yellow sa, yellow sa, Gologosa, happiness.
Need no pride, nothing on earth.
your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here, across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu.
Saúde Pública para partilhar a sua visão sobre o tema.
A doença, nesse momento, representa o maior risco de saúde pública que nós temos. Nos últimos anos, a nossa preocupação esteve sempre centrada com os casos de malária, os casos de tuberculose e também de infecção por VIH-Sida. A forma como, em pouco menos de 2 meses, os casos de cólera vêm aumentando, acaba por representar, nessa altura, um dos maiores desafios que o país tem. É expectável que, nesta fase, o número de casos vem a aumentar.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio do Canal África.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
14:55 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play, live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from anywhere in the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Please do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. Should you miss out on any of our conversations, please do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on Programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you click on More to access all those important and special conversations that you can listen to when you have time to do so. Let's now take a quick flight to East Africa and land in Kampala, Uganda, where our legendary correspondent Simon Boza is standing by to bring us up to speed with regards to all things East African sport.
Good afternoon, Africa, and from Kampala, all is set for the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup tournament due to kick off at the Mandela National Stadium on Tuesday next week. 8 countries will take part in the championship that also offers one qualification slot for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Organizing committee chairperson Emmanuel Fudribo takes us through day 1 fixtures.
All our games start at 10 a.m. in the morning. First game kicks off at 10 a.m. Game day 1, 10 a.m. in the morning, Zimbabwe versus Morocco. That's a game you shouldn't miss. It's going to be an exciting game, and it will set the pace for the rest of the day. Second game will be at midday. Third game will be at 2 p.m. And then finally Uganda closes it off with Kenya at 4 p.m., which will be, I'm sure it will be a very, very lovely experience to be part of. However, there's a chance that the games can go into some form of darkness, maybe 7:30 or even 8. If the lights are really functional, so we've tested the capacity of the lights. It should be able to work. So if from the first game we go into extra time, that means you're cutting into the time for the next games. Meaning a game for Uganda, Kenya that would have ideally ended at 6 p.m. You could look at a stretch of 7:15, 7:30. So that is the only possibility of having the night games for now.
Fudribo says some teams are already in Kampala, ready for the action on Tuesday.
Kenya was the first team outside of Uganda to arrive. They are staying, I think, at Nobview. Training, probably they're training at Makerere. However, it's a closed door training. Morocco has some officials around as well. The majority of the team will be coming in this afternoon, so we have a team already at the airport ready to receive them.
He says the Rugby World Cup trophy arrives in Uganda from South Africa on Sunday, and it will be taken to State House for the president to fill it before it will be taken to Mandela National Stadium on game day 1.
So this arrives on the 6th. After that, in the evening, about 6 p.m., we have a cocktail at Munyonyo. It's an event that is open to media to come and interact with the trophy, to ask any type of questions. So you're very welcome to come and be part of that as well. And then Monday, we're hoping it will be in State House, presented to the President of the country, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. After that, if the time allows, then we'll go to Chadondo for the age grade program. But if time does not allow, and then on game day 1, the trophy will be brought to the stadium. We have a watching area a stadium watch area, which has been allocated for the Webelies Cup, where fans can pass by, take a picture, ask any questions they have about the Webelies trophy. And then towards the kickoff of the final game of the day, which is Uganda against Kenya, it will be brought to the main pitch just to present it, and then for the fans who may have not gone there to also be able to view it.
Fudribo believes the Uganda Rugby Cranes are ready to win it this time round and qualify for the World Cup for the first time.
This is more exciting because there's something at the end of the day to really look forward to, and that's the World Cup in Australia 2027. I believe people should start saving early. The team is very, very prepared. The president paid them a visit in camp yesterday, and the mood is there in very high, very good moods, and we're hoping that will be translated onto the action on the pitch. So come in large numbers to experience Uganda go for the first World Cup in Australia 2027.
Meanwhile, badminton players from 10 countries are in Uganda participating in the Uganda International Para Badminton Championship. The 5-day event is expected to climax on Sunday, with Paralympic Games qualification points at stake. And finally today, the Federation of Uganda Football Association's delegates are converging to elect new office bearers. Incumbent Federation President Moses Magogo is running unopposed after nominations were closed without any other candidate asking to contest for the position of president. This as Uganda prepares to co-host the 2025 CHAN finals with Kenya and Tanzania in August this year. Sam Poza reporting from Uganda.
1500 Central African Time. Thank you to Sam Poza all the way from East Africa in Kampala, Uganda, giving us the update with regards to the Rugby Africa Cup that is taking place in Uganda, Kampala. It is now time to welcome to Africa at Play our teenager in sport, Indipile Lambert, after the short break.
What are the teenagers up to if they are not in class? Let's get in touch with the teenager in sport. What are the teenagers up to if they are not in class? Let's get in touch with the teenager in sport.
1501 Central African Time. Let's welcome Indipile Lambert to Africa at Play, who is a 17-year-old boxer currently in grade 11 and partaking at the National Championships at the Transnet Engineering Boxing Academy in Pretoria, the country's capital city, which is currently underway. Indipile, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You sound like you've won your first fight. Did you have a fight already? How did it go? Please talk to us about it.
I didn't have a first fight. I'm fighting under the light fly 48 to 50, but there were only two of us, so I fought today in the finals.
Oh, interesting indeed. Let's take it a step backward. What drew your attention to boxing?
I can't hear you.
What drew your attention to boxing? How did you join the sport of boxing?
I started seeing TV shows and I got interested, and I also saw my friends going to the gym, so I also followed them.
How long have you been involved in boxing now?
I think it's 3 to 4 years now.
Are you loving it? What is so interesting that you love so much about the sport of boxing?
I love sport. I love boxing so much because it teaches discipline and to respect other people, never underestimate your opponent, but it teaches you to respect everyone around you, and it gets you out of the streets, and also, yeah.
And how did you qualify for the national championships that are currently underway at the Transnet Engineering Boxing Academy in Pretoria?
We first had the championships in Danone. I didn't have an opponent, so I fought with another boxer from my team, and then I won there. And then we went to the provincials. Then to the provincials, I didn't have a partner to play with, so I was a walkover. And then I came here to the nationals.
So now that you made it there through a walkover victory, have you prepared accordingly for your upcoming fight?
I prepared and I was training very hard. I tried to fight today, but I don't know what happened because I think the judges liked the Eastern Cape very much, and because of their supporters. So like today, I fought very hard, and I fought very hard, but I don't know what happened.
And what happened when you spoke to your coach about the fight? What did you talk about?
My coach told me that I was the champion. I won the fight, but it was the judges who were not really onto the fight because I won the fight fair and clean. If you can see it, I won it, but I don't know what happened. But my coach encouraged me to do more and also go to the gym and fix my mistakes again.
So when is your next fight? Are you going to have another fight at the ongoing championships?
No, I'm done for the championships.
And now, moving forward in the sport of boxing, how far do you want to take the sport of boxing? Because boxing is different from other sporting codes. Someone who plays soccer gets to play about 2 games a week, but boxing is a different case where you have to prepare thoroughly for a fight and you don't get to fight on a weekly basis like it is the case with different other sporting codes. What are your plans for the future?
My plans for the future is to turn professional when I'm well trained and when I'm done with school. I can't turn professional when I'm still in school. I just want first to finish my studies and then I will turn to professional, because boxing ends when you are 35 years old. So I'm gonna balance my life so that when boxing ends, then I will be looking for something to do, because I will be done in school.
And when you turn professional, will you want to fight around the African continent? And if yes, what are some of the countries you would like to visit through boxing?
Yeah, I would really like to fight with other provinces and stuff. And I would like to go fight like in China, Paris and all that cities.
Talk to us about your relationship with your coach. Who is your coach and how is your relationship so far?
My coach is Coach Bonele Joy. He stays in town too. He is a very much well-trained coach. He's a supportive person, and he like you can see that he was over boxing when he was my age. So he knows everything. He encourages you to do more. He trains very well, and he is very, very much supportive.
15:06 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are talking to our teenager in sport, a 17-year-old teenager who is in grade 11 and is a boxer currently at the National Championships at the Transnet Engineering Boxing Academy in Pretoria. She would like to turn professional one day and visit other countries like China and Paris through boxing. And she says the sport of boxing is a short career, hence she kicked off her career in boxing at an early age as a teenager. Indipile, talk to us about things you do when you are not involved in boxing. What do you get up to?
I'm studying. I don't have friends. I don't have friends, and my relatives are so far from me. So when I'm not in boxing, I study at home. I only do that. Study and go to church, and then come back and study again, and then go to the gym.
How's grade 11 treating you?
So far, grade 11 is, I think it's much easier, because in term 1, I passed with flying marks, with bachelor pass, and in term 2, a bachelor pass.
Are you ready for matric? Because 2025 is as good as gone. After winter, it will be the season of spring. And you know, once the trees blossom and the flowers blossom, the year is as good as over. After that, it's the festive season.
I'm very, very much. I'm ready for grade 12, because since grade 11 is very easy, grade 12 is going to be a revision. And I'm working very hard. To pass with flying colors in grade 12.
What do your schoolmates say to you, those that knows that you are a boxer?
They say that they won't do boxing, and they also tease me like, yo, and you want to be a boy and all that stuff. But it's not like being a boy, but it's just loving the sport, because it teaches me discipline. They say that I'm a girl who wants to be a boy, but I'm not. I'm just a girl who likes boxing.
Have you ever experienced bullying, or boxing has always worked in your favor?
I have experienced. I was bullied, but in primary school, but in high school, I never experienced it.
What did you like to say to your schoolmates that are ignorant about the sport of boxing, so you enlighten them about, you know, how exciting the sport is, and perhaps it is a sporting code they could consider for themselves?
I tried convincing them to go to boxing and train with me, but they were like, "Yo, I can't do that." I was in the most boxing started my club. Boxing started 5 to 7. They were like, "Yo, I have many things to do, than going to be beaten up in the gym." I was like, "You are not going to be beaten up. You are first going to train until you are well. Then you will be beaten up." But They were like, yeah, we have many things to do with our friends. Go out, go drink, and go there. And I'm not interested in that stuff.
Indipile Lambert, a 17-year-old boxer who's talking to us on our Teenager in Sport conversation. She is currently at the Transnet Engineering Boxing Academy, where the national championships are taking place in Pretoria. Indipile, let's talk about your days at the gym. How often do you go to the gym in a week?
I go Monday to Friday, 5 days. And
5
then
days.
Saturdays would be tournaments. Some Saturdays are tournaments, yeah.
So your level of fitness is at the desired level. Please engage us on how important it is to keep fit, but you are already on another level, on a level of fitness, which is a great level to be in.
Being fit helps you a lot because I'm a person with who suffers from asthma. You know? So like my coaches taught me to how to manage my asthma and how to breathe, and it is a sport that can help you like when you have health problems. It can help you very, very much.
Except for your coaches, who else is giving you support that you need in the sport of boxing?
It is my mother and my other coach that I started boxing with.
What would you like to say to your mother?
I would like to thank her for letting me come to the nationals, for believing in me, and for encouraging me to gym more often because she doesn't want to see her child in the streets like others. She wants me to be successful. She wishes me all the best. So yeah, I would like to say I love her and thanks for the support.
Your coaches also play an important role in making certain that you become the champion that you are. What would you like to say, a message that goes straight to your coaches?
I would like to say that my coaches must keep on doing what they are doing to me, to other persons, because most of the people out there would love to be like me, and most of the people they need help and support, because most of the people don't get support from their homes, but in the gym maybe they would get it. I would like to say I love them so much, and I care for them as much as they care for me.
Before I let you go, Indipile, any upcoming tournaments or an event that you will be participating in the future?
I think when we go back to Cape Town, I think there will be tournaments like in Danone or Brand or Seapoint. I'm not sure.
Thank you so much, Indipile Lambert, for talking to us on Africa at Play about your story. A 17-year-old grade 11 learner who is a boxer, and she loves boxing because it keeps her going, and she would like to visit countries like China and Paris. Indipile, before I let you go, what would you like to say to the youth of Africa that are listening to our conversation and they are skeptical about joining boxing?
I would like to say that they must remove the negative thoughts about boxing, and they must go and try very hard. You must pray to see yourself being successful. And boxing is not just a sport where you get beaten up, but it also teaches you discipline in how to love someone and care about someone. So boxing is a sport where you are well trained, and yeah, I would love to say that they can try boxing.
Indipile Lambert, a 17-year-old boxer all the way from Cape Town, and currently in Pretoria at the country's capital city for the national championships at the Transnet Engineering Boxing Academy. Indipile, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best with your studies in grade 11. I'm happy to hear that you did excellently well in Term 1 and Term 2, and I'm looking forward to great results in the third and fourth term, and looking forward to seeing you in grade 12 and, of course, prospering in your boxing career.
Thank you so much.
15:14 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our conversation with our teenager in sport, a 17-year-old girl who is into the sport of boxing, Indipile Lambert, currently at the national championships in Pretoria. We take a short break. When we come back, we're going to connect with Sam Mpoza all the way from Kampala, Uganda, to fill us up about the latest in the Rugby Africa Cup.
We are on OpenView's audio bouquet. Channel 628. The Upside. Your afternoons just got even better.
Bantu Biko Street by Simpiwe Dana. Ndi ready. Simpiwe, 20 years in song. So what emotions come up when you hear that, hey, you've been doing this for 20 years now?
It almost feels like no time has passed, eh? I just, I know obviously time has passed, but I don't feel it. Even about my age, I'm 45. I always get shocked when I think, oh my God, in 5 years' time, I'll be 50. Because for me as an artist, it's almost like when it comes to certain things, time stands still. And as a result, you find that a lot of artists are very childlike, which, it helps them to always have a fresh approach to issues.
I tell you what, I'm feeling healed just by that.
We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the Upside. Weekends just got better. Only on Channel Africa. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
15:16 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play, live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you're based in South Africa. If you're out of the country, worry not, we've got you covered. You can access us from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za. Please do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1. And on Facebook, the name of our station, Channel Africa. Our exciting topic of the day under the umbrella of global football. 32 teams from across all 6 FIFA confederations compete in the USA at the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup 2025. African teams didn't perform well at this year's Club World Cup as they failed to graduate out of the group stage. Is it lack of experience at the highest level or poor preparations? Please do drop us a voice note with your thoughts on the number +27 63 406 9126. For now, let's welcome Sam Mpoza, our East African-based correspondent, who is from Kampala, Uganda. Mpoza, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Yes, good afternoon, Neto Neto Chemane. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play, Big Brother. Let's talk about the Rugby Africa Cup. What is the latest happening in this exciting event? The qualifiers for the World Cup, fortunately for the world champions, the Springboks, they do not have to participate in this Rugby Africa Cup because they already qualify by virtue of being the champions and, of course, the reigning champions, not just the world champions. What's the latest in Uganda?
Well, actually, before even I speak about what is latest, I think it's a good thing that the defending champions of the World Cup are from Africa. That creates more space for at least 2 more African countries to go and represent Africa in the World Cup. Because if we already have 1 spot taken by South Africa, then we have another 1 spot that will be taken by the winner of this tournament that is kicking off on Tuesday here in Kampala. And then the second place team will go and play a repechage with the defending, I think the second place team in Asia. And if the African team wins, of course, that means that we shall have 3 teams in the World Cup 2027. So that's good news already for Africa. And yeah, we embrace that good news. But what is latest here in Kampala ahead of the kickoff of the Africa Rugby Cup. Everything is set. Everything looks beautiful for the game to kick off on Tuesday. Yesterday, I visited the Mandela National Stadium, and yes, everything was set. The sitting area has been set up so well, and they're going to use the outer pitch of the Mandela National Stadium. They're not using the inside pitch because I was told that the rugby fans love that fun when they are nearest to their team, when they are nearest to the game. And for football, because of the hooliganism in football, when you look at the way the football stadium is built, the fans are kept a little bit far from the players, from the actual pitch where a game is played. But for rugby, the fans want it near the pitch. So that's why the whole new setup has been put up at the outer pitch of what is supposed to be the training pitch for the Mandela National Stadium, which has also been improved to greater standards. And it looks nice, and was also set up in a way that it can accommodate rugby and international rugby for that matter. So the marking has been done, the sitting area has been set up. They have set up an area where there will be food and drinks. I'm told rugby goes with beer. Rugby fans are big beer consumers. So they have also put tents for drinks like that. Wines, beers, water, everything, juice and everything. Then they have also set up an area where the Rugby World Cup trophy will sit, and then the fans will come and have a view of the trophy and probably also take pictures and enjoy it and feel it before it will be brought onto the pitch on Tuesday in the last game of the day, where Uganda will be taking on Kenya. At that time, at that moment, it will be brought onto the pitch, on the rugby pitch, for everyone now to see it live from there. So everything looks good. Teams are already in Kampala, and it's just the whistle, the starting whistle that that everyone is waiting for, and then the game will start.
15:21 Central African Time. That's the voice of Sam Mpoza, our correspondent based in East Africa, in Kampala, Uganda, talking to us about the upcoming edition of the Rugby Africa Cup, where we will get to see African rugby at its best, and we say may the best team win. Moving from rugby to football, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations kicking off tonight at 2200 Central African Time, where we will see the hosts of the tournament, the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco, will take on the Copper Queens of Zambia at 2200 Central African Time. Then tomorrow it will be the Atlas Lionesses of Senegal will take on DR Congo at 1600 Central African Time. The Super Falcons of Nigeria, 9-time champions, will take on the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia at 1800 Central African Time. And another match taking place tomorrow is Algeria, the Phoenix, taking on Botswana from Southern Africa at 2100 Central African Time. Reigning champions Banyana Banyana of South Africa will take on the Black Queens of Ghana on Monday the 7th at 1800 Central African Time. And Mali will line up against East African outfit Tanzania also on Monday the 7th at 2100 Central African Time. Sempoza represented by Tanzania. Unfortunately, Uganda and Kenya and the likes of Rwanda didn't make it for this one. It's just a limited space, only 12 countries. But good thing is Tanzania is there. Your thoughts on the upcoming Women's Africa Cup of Nations kicking off tonight between the host nation, the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco, up against Zambia, and Tanzania will be wrapping up the first match, the opener, on Monday the 7th against Mali at 2100 Central African Time.
Well, when you listen to the fixtures, yeah, you realize that these are going to be very good games. African women football has really developed. Women are playing very good football. You have to take time to, if you didn't, you just tuned on your TV and you didn't know probably that you are going to watch a women's tournament. You have to take some time for you to observe critically and see whether you are watching men or women, because the level of football has really developed in Africa, which is so good. Morocco hosting this tournament again, it's a good thing for them. Though it's not good for Africa, because this tournament is supposed to rotate so that everyone has a chance to host. And when you host, like we always say, when, African governments will always putting money into sports infrastructure development. When there's a big tournament coming, they'll be put on pressure to inject money into sports infrastructure development and general sports development. So, a tournament in one country, time and again, and that deprives the rest of the countries of the benefits that would come with hosting such a big tournament. But a good thing for Morocco, for them to host it again, and then they stand a chance again to try and win it. So the last time South Africa took it away from them, Uganda participated in that tournament that time round, and they were in the Morocco group. They performed well, though they didn't go so far, and this time round they were not able to go. Good thing that we have a representative in that championship as East Africa. Tanzania, who are also playing very good football. Tanzania women are playing very good football. That, of course, helps the region when they come back. They come back with more experience, and when they play in the Sekafa women, at least they're able to share that exposure, that experience they got from that side. So it's so good for Africa. We need those tournaments. Like Sharon Bott always says that African women need to play as many as possible tournaments for them to keep improving. And like I said, if probably that tournament had moved down probably to another country, these young ladies, the young girls who are in training school, they get motivated, they get inspired. I've spoken to so many women footballers who tell you that they didn't know about women in football until probably one day they were exposed to the game by either their stars or by a brother who with her to a football match or to a training ground, and then she somehow she saw another girl playing football, and then she said, okay, I can also try, and then they played, and now they are professional football. So women community in Africa still needs that exposure to women football. For the community in Africa for the communities in Africa to appreciate the fact that women can also play football like men, but they will still be women. They will not become men because they are playing football. So yes, let's wait and see what happens next. But good tournament, good for Morocco, good for Africa, but it needs to rotate a little bit more.
Let's dive a little bit deeper on the rotation system. What do you think is the cause why the mother body of football, CAF, would give a tournament to Morocco in 2022, the one where Banyana were crowned champions, and that tournament was supposed to come back in 2024, but citing reasons of, avoiding a clash of football fixtures between the football tournament of the Paris 2024 Olympics and the actual WAFCON tournament, and therefore moved with a year to 2025, which makes it 3 years later. And it still goes back to North Africa. Not only does it go back to North Africa, but it still goes back to Morocco. Now look at a scenario where if CAF had communicated in good time to say Morocco hosts the 2022, but a different country, be it Rwanda, be it Lesotho, or any country around Africa that needs to develop their infrastructure and facilities, gets given the rights to host this tournament so that you get that rotation system. But even when you get to the regional tournaments like COSAFA in Southern Africa, it's forever hosted in South Africa. And I've challenged the COSAFA representatives asking about why is this tournament always taking place in South Africa when you could be empowering other countries in Southern Africa like Mozambique and Eswatini to be in a position to host these regional tournaments and eventually be fit to host continental tournaments?
A big question that CAF and the football powers, the football administrators in Africa have to answer, really disturbing, and there's never been a concrete answer why they do this. You remember when they awarded this tournament again to Morocco in our forum of Africa to play and African sports journalists, everyone thought it would go to another country But of course, you don't that was always there. And people saying no. You see, they're still going to give it back to Morocco. But there was also that big anticipation that at least it would go to another country, but it ended it back into Morocco, which is so unfortunate. But good thing, Morocco is still an African country, so it got to Europe. So it's an African country, African tournament played in Africa, but hosted by one African country. And like you said, the CECAFA, the COSAFA tournament being hosted only in South Africa. I think football administrators I don't want to blame them so much, but this is my opinion. They are always looking for a soft landing. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to work under pressure. Because if you give it to a country, like for instance, if that Women Africa Cup of Nations had been brought to, let's say, a country like Uganda, where there are not so much infrastructure for women football, probably, then that would put the organizers, the administration, the CAF administration, on pressure to ensure that they also pass down the pressure to the government and everyone to ensure that this tournament is prepared the government puts into place infrastructure. So, of course, they will work under pressure and they have to pass on that pressure down to other stakeholders. Now, if you put it in a country that probably hosted it before, hotels are okay, the pitches are okay, the transport system is okay, the communication is okay, then you don't have that pressure because they have hosted it before, they can host it again, so you know what they can do, so you will not be under pressure. That is the soft landing I'm talking about. So I think they need to accept to work under pressure a little bit, and for the benefit of the game, for the benefit of the game in the region, in Africa, so that everyone can give. And in the future, they will be the biggest beneficiaries because if you have 10 countries, 20 countries in Africa that can host a big tournament of that magnitude, then you are spoiled for choice whenever you have such a tournament. But if you are left with one country that can host, then you are somehow things will one time go bad for you and you have no choice. Let's assume probably South Africa had some political instability one of these years, and in a year that the COSAFA tournament has to be played. So that means you're going to call off the tournament because you don't have any other host, and where you are supposed to host it, there's some instability. Teams cannot go there, and what does that mean? The tournament dies. So our leaders of football on the continent need to think bigger than they are thinking right now. That's my opinion.
That's the opinion of Sam Mpoza about the disturbing scenario of tournaments across the African continent that are taking place in the same countries that are already well established with infrastructure and facilities, the likes of Morocco, Egypt, and South Africa. We would like to see a scenario where other countries that are still battling, that still needs the injection of funds by their government and different stakeholders to be given the hosting rights so that they get an opportunity to build facilities, and that becomes legacy of the young footballers and young athletes of different sporting codes. That's Sam Mpoza from East Africa in Kampala, Uganda, talking to us on Africa at Play. Sam Mpoza, before I let you go, what's the latest in Ugandan sport?
Well, today we have the Federation of Uganda Football Association General Assembly. And it's an elective assembly. The incumbent president, Moses Magogo, has been at the helm of the federation for the last 4 years, and now is back for re-election, unopposed, by the way. He did everything possible to ensure that he comes back unopposed. Something, that cancer that is killing, that started from politics, and that is now getting down into sports, and sports is now being politicized. You find leaders of federations fighting their opposition to the point that they make them unable to come and stand against the incumbents, and the incumbents always come unopposed. I've seen this always in in politics in Africa, where a sitting president is unopposed, especially when in their parties. And now this is coming down to sports, which is not a healthy thing, because like we were talking, you need to have options. You need to have options in life. You're living a life where there are no options. It's like you are living a dead life. Dead life. Because you have no option. It's only that, and that is it. If he is the only candidate, if he's good or bad, everyone has to go by him. There's no option. I think that is a bad thing, but it's happening in Uganda. Right now, as we speak, the assembly is seated somewhere in western Uganda, and most of the positions were predetermined, and there's no competition, there's no opposition. They are only sitting to rubber stamp what was decided probably in the boardroom somewhere, and it somehow defeats the principle of sports, whereby we say the best man, let the best man or the best team win. It's so bad, but it is happening. So that is it. Let's wait and see the next 4 years. Of course, the next 4 years we have CHAN, which is next month, and then we have the Africa Cup of Nations Finals, which is in 2027, and then Uganda has a long way to qualify for the first World Cup. The team is still in contention for the World Cup place. And then, of course, the team qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations 2026. They will be playing in the Africa Cup of Nations. That is the national team. A lot of football activities going on, but we hoped probably that someone new will be given a chance to read football so that we see new things, but this is not going to be possible for the next 4 years.
Simon Boza, our correspondent based in East Africa in Kampala, Uganda, talking to us about East African sport with the major focus on Uganda and African sport in general. Simboza, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Have a good afternoon further.
Thank you so much, my brother.
15:37 Central African Time. If you love the sport of football, there's exciting features coming under the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON tournament kicking off tonight in Morocco, North Africa, where Morocco, the Atlas Lionesses, will open the curtain against the Copper Queens of Zambia at 2200 Central African Time. Then tomorrow there will be 3 fixtures. That is, the Atlas Lionesses of Senegal will take on DR Congo at 1600 Central African Time. The Super Falcons of Nigeria, 9-time winners of the WAFCON, will take on the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia at 1800 Central African Time. Algeria, the Phoenix, will take on the Southern African outfit Botswana at 2100 Central African Time. There's more features taking place on Monday. 2 more matches. The reigning champions, Banyana Banyana of South Africa, will take on the Black Queens of Ghana at 1800 Central African Time. Then at 2100, it will be Mali up against Tanzania. And match day 2 will kick off on Wednesday, the 9th of July, with full-on fixtures until all matches have been played. All day 2 matches have been played, and the matches will be played from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before it gets to Saturday, where match day 3 will also kick off. And after all the 12 teams have played match day 3, then it goes to the knockout stages. So it's going to be exciting times. So the tournament is slated for the 5th to the 26th of July. Kicking off today, and the finals will be taking place on the 26th of July. May the best African team win. This is Africa at Play as Delil Shire.
Weekends just got better. Only on Channel Africa. Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
Thank you very much. I have been, guess what? I've been talking to the youth lately. Yeah. A group of people that truly believes life a generation before them was easy. And I'm like, wow. Okay, let me talk to that generation, which is also saying the same thing. You know, life before us was easy, man. And I came to the conclusion that, hey, ladies and gentlemen, there is no easy life at all. Life is how you make it. bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bembera, 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 bembe, bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bembera, 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 bembe, bombito, bombi, bembera, bembe, bombito, maniro, maniro, 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 beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba, aywa maniro, beta 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 maniro, caramba, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba, aywa maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, beta maniro, caramba.
Nighttime radio, just the way you like it, on Channel Africa, where the night comes alive. Getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique, with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6. We put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine, 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4.
15:53 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play, the continent's best sport and music destination. We're coming to you live from the world-class African Institution of Broadcasting, the SABC, in Auckland Park, Johannesburg, in the Republic of South Africa, with sport and music from an African perspective. Action continues in the FIFA Club World Cup, and this is our topic of today, where we are asking about African teams that got shown the exit door in the early days. They only got to play in the group stages but couldn't qualify out of the group stages to the knockout stages. And the big question is, what is wrong? Is it lack of experience at the highest level or just poor preparations? You can send us your thoughts via WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. There's action today between PSG. Paris Saint-Germain will be taking on the German Bundesliga champions Bayern Munchen at 1800 Central African Time. Real Madrid will be up against Borussia Dortmund at 2200 Central African Time, and Chelsea got to play against Palmeiras, and they won that match earlier today by 2-1. And these are the quarterfinal stages, and it will lead us to the semifinals, where Fluminense will line up against Chelsea on Tuesday the 8th of July at 2100 Central African Time. With the matches that are still pending, we will get to know the other semifinals, the match that will also play at 2100 Central African Time on Wednesday the 9th. Then the final will take place on Sunday the 13th of July 2100. We had African teams like Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa that have really fought hard. They played to a draw against Fluminense. They managed to win their opening match and gave Borussia Dortmund a tough time, losing that match by 3-4. We've also seen Al Ahly of Egypt fighting, including Wydad Casablanca and Esperance de Tunis of Tunisia. What are your thoughts on our topic of the day? Let's go to Lusaka, Zambia, where our correspondent Namuchana is standing by with the pundits of football to dissect this today's topic.
32 teams across all 6 FIFA confederations are competing in the United States for FIFA Club World Cup 2025. African teams didn't perform well at this year's Club World Cup. We are asking, is it lack of experience or just poor preparations? I have with me Wezi Mazunda. Wezi, thank you so much for joining us. Wezi, we have been watching the Club World Cup. This is the FIFA Club World Cup, and African teams didn't perform according to expectations. Is it lack of experience or just poor preparations? What are your views, Wes?
It's about ambition. It's about vision. What do you want to achieve? FIFA right now has brought up this global competition. So you see how FIFA has been ambitious. It started with 6 clubs competing. They looked at the bigger picture of having these 32 clubs housed in one place. And FIFA's vision is what? Making money. They'll make a lot of money, billions of dollars from this competition. So even as a club, it starts with that. Firstly, I would like to congratulate and commend these clubs for working working so hard and being consistent, the African clubs I mean, for working so hard in the African League, because these are top teams in our league. These are not small teams. Esperance, Al Ali, Mamelodi Sundowns. These are very, very big teams that have represented the continent at the world stage. Congratulations to them for being consistent and staying consistent at African level, at continental level, and going out there to the world to represent the country. It was not to be. They did not manage to get to the latter stages. Even big teams have fallen at these smaller stages from other continents for obvious reasons. Maybe most of them are citing, fatigue, calendar, having played so many games and then going into this club competition when ordinarily maybe they've been psyched, that's a period when they rest or do other things. But for Africa, it's a learning curve. It's a starting point. I think we've had situations where African teams have gone to these competitions. There's TP Mazembe, which I think finished second at some point at this very competition. African teams have been going, maybe not reaching the final and winning it altogether, but they've been participating in these competitions. Now it's a bigger competition, a bigger pool of teams. A lot more teams have the opportunity to participate at these events. So what you need to have is the vision. And with vision, in my view, you work starting now. You don't work starting. You work starting yesterday, actually. Now you're late, but yesterday. The teams have had a feel of what it's like to play at this world stage, what needs to be done. So they need to have a vision of where they see themselves next time they qualify to this big world event. Do they just want to come back in the first round, or maybe they'll go in the round of 16 or quarterfinals, or they want to go all the way to go and get the cup? It's the usual things. Invest in infrastructure, have good infrastructure, have a good technical bench that has good rapport with the players, have good players, invest in players, buy players. If your homegrown players can't manage at that stage, bring in players who will make the team even much better, bring in so much brilliance into the team so that the team can be able to deliver the results that you want. Bring in tacticians. Now we have the world of video analysts working and everyone, psychologists. Africa, let's invest in psychologists. I know it's a costly venture, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's very worth it. Even in our women's game, it's very important, actually. Anyway, that is a story of another day. So for these teams, I think it's just about being focused, having a vision, setting a target, knowing where you want to be, and having enough preparations. Preparations is in many ways. What kind of preparation are you talking about? Do you have to go to that particular continent when there's going to be a World Cup, starting from back home, the way you are playing, when they play in CAF Champions League, Confederation Cup competition? How are you playing? Are you playing like contenders to qualify for that world competition and to go and win? It's a starting point where you are, what you're doing today to make sure that at the next event that comes, you will be there. And when you are there, you're not just going to be a participant, but you're going to be very competitive and give competition. And like I always like to say, Africa has a lot of potential. It has natural talent. We've got good players. Look at France. I mean, that is testimony. France, a national team, men's national team, even women. You have our own players of African descent playing in those teams. They are coming from here. See, then they're in an advanced environment. They have all these good environment given to them, are able to play and they're able to deliver. So even if Africa can invest in its own homegrown players, its own clubs, I always like to say, invest in the fans. The fans, that is your money. That is your money base. Work with the government, sit down, come up with initiatives to make money. Invest in the club, invest good money, make sure the players are happy, make sure the players are professional. But most importantly, what is key? Sit down with the players. Psychology, I think, should be the first thing. Look at the mental aspect of the players. I think this is an aspect that Africa is not really investing much in. But if we can look into it and work very well, I think an African team eventually will be able to win this competition. We have everything that it takes to do so.
Wesley, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us.
Thank you so much.
So those were the views of Wesley Mazunda. What are the views of Conrad Dumbanga, sports analyst?
African clubs, came into this tournament with a lot of expectation, especially from the African fan contingents. The teams were expected to perform well, but alas, their early exits, their struggles during the group stages, indeed do raise concerns and do raise a question like the one that is on the topic today. Is it a lack of experience at the highest level or poor preparation on the part of African teams? If I was to dissect this question on lack of experience, I could say African clubs, rarely get consistent exposure to elite level opponents like your Real Madrid, your Manchester Cities. They don't get to face such elite level of opposition. This is why in the last few years, the North African side of CAF has dominated various competitions because this is like the elite of African football. But even them, they don't really get to face off top elite competition like the teams I've mentioned. Whilst North African teams might dominate, the domestic and continental club tournaments, the pace, the tactical acumen, discipline that comes with at such a high level, like European teams and European giants are exposed to on a weekly basis, is totally different. So, simply put, can't manufacture experience. You have to face the top level teams, the elite teams, to gain that experience. You just can't manufacture it. You haven't had that experience and you just, let's just manufacture. You can. Them playing at this first tournament is an experience. So I don't think African teams will perform the same way at the next club FIFA World Club Cup, because this is their first experience. Yeah. On preparation, yes, there's also the matter of that aspect of preparation. Some African clubs, do struggle with logistics. They do struggle with visa, their what. They do struggle bringing all their players, securing training schedules, training dates, training venues. Usually when African seasons come to an end across Africa, whether it's North Africa, Southern Africa, or West Africa, we find a lot of player contract issues. Every time a season ends, quick movement of players wanting to come out of their contracts. So there's also that issue that affects African clubs. Whilst European clubs, like you look at your Real Madrid, they are probably going to look at these issues of player transfers and whatnot after the Club World Cup. Some of the players that are playing for Real Madrid in the 2025 FIFA World Club Cup won't be there come next season. But for now, the club had to go with those same set of players. That issue of player contracts and player transfers hasn't surfaced. But with African clubs, you find that was an issue that was in camp. So yeah, African clubs sometimes arrive at certain tournaments like this tournament very undercooked because of such issues. Lack of experience and the issue of preparation, like I've highlighted, did indeed contribute largely to the early exits of the African clubs. And perhaps lastly, I can add even, the financial muscle. There's huge difference between European clubs and African clubs in terms of their budget. So the budget disparity between Europe and Africa is wide. Clubs from Europe spend huge on just securing one single player, and the amount of money that Real Madrid can spend on buying one player is probably the entire budget for one African club in the continental. Perhaps the money that Real Madrid spent on Jude Bellingham would be the budget for Mamelodi Sundown, would be the annual budget. Such issues do indeed play a role. So yeah, African clubs might be rich in raw talent, might be rich in having players with a natural gift, but without consistent exposure to top competitions like the World Club Cup, and without institutional support from government, from corporate world, the African corporate world, without enough funding into the clubs, African clubs will continue to struggle indeed at tournaments, at such elite tournaments like the Club World Cup.
The views of Conrad Mbanga there. We also got the views of former Zambia national soccer team player Chandalo.
In the first place, we just want to thank FIFA for expanding the World Club Championship recently, which is taking place in the USA. What a competition it is. We've seen teams that we haven't seen coming on the scene. Well prepared, though there are some situations which are happening with the weather and the other stuff. But again, it's unfortunate our own African teams have failed to break the ice once again. Many questions have been raised, still being raised. Why is it that it's only Africa which is still lagging behind? Is it the facilities that we don't have? Is it that we don't meet the proper standard which requires an African team to perform at the world stage? Because this tournament is closer to the World Cup. So if we cannot go through and be kicked in the first round like this, it will be a true reflection even of the teams that are going to qualify for the World Cup. So it all starts from here. Unfortunately, the teams pack their bags and they're coming home. It's a lesson on its own, but how many times are we going to get on the drawing board? It's high time that African teams are performing at the bigger stages. We had high hopes in the teams that represented Africa, and the likes of Sundowns, with that Casablanca. Those are powerhouses of Africa. We just knew that we were going to perform on the bigger stage, but unfortunately, they found, they're getting stuck all the time. But again, I go back to the preparations. Did we prepare prepare properly? Do we have enough time to prepare? Did we have, more friendlies? Did we have to study how the weather will be? Or the grounds that they were going to use? Did they have, opportunity just to send some people to see how the turf will be so that they can, prepare well? It's quite unfortunate. Call it very embarrassing. At least if we could have seen one team going to play in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and reach the finals, just like TP Mazembe did some years back. But again, it's a question of now going back on the round table, try to find what went wrong. By time Africa, we need, to organize ourselves. And indeed, poor surprise. We are a great continent, skilled in terms of football. We have the football mentality. So we need to just work extra hard. FIFA is trying by all means to increase team, and the tournament is getting better. Though a bit tiresome to some people who just gotten away from the competition and they went into another competition. Very soon they'll be going to pre-season. It looks like, yes, a mini tournament on its own, but it's quite stretching to some of the other players. But it's cool for players to be exposed at this time around. But it's unfortunate. Once again, I just want to send tough luck to African team. What do we do again? We go back to the drawing board, put our, our house in order, pick up the pieces, mend them, and look forward. This is not the end of the world. There's still tournaments coming ahead of us. Why can't we sit down and prepare properly? It's all about preparation. Prepare well, then you finish well. Thank you.
Chandalusha talking to us there today. We were looking at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. We know that 32 teams from across all 6 FIFA confederations are competing in the United States for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. African teams didn't perform well at this year's Club World Cup. We were asking, is it lack of experience or just poor preparations? We had Wezi Mazunda, sports analyst, Conrad Mbanga, sports analyst, and former Zambia national soccer team player Chandalusha. For Channel Africa Sports, Namchana from Zambia.
16:07 Central African Time. Africans always brag about how unique we are and how talented we are, which is very true. But however, when it comes to the FIFA Club World Cup, where African teams were shown the exit door during the group stages, it is a call for concern. And we're asking a big question. What is wrong with African football? Is it lack of experience at the high level or poor preparations? And we got to hear from different pundits. We've got some voice notes on the topic of the day. If you want to drop us a voice note, the number to dial is +27 63 406 9126. Let's take a voice note from Bongani Chuma, who's sharing his thoughts on our topic of the day.
Good afternoon, Neto and the listeners. This is Bongani Chuma from Lenasia. Great show as always, my brother. Look, Neto, African teams, they are more regarded like feeder teams to the big European teams. So when you look at the playing fields, are not that level. When you look at the feeder team, that is Mamelodi Sundowns, that wants to feed towards the European giants, and therefore you regard the feeder team as the weaker team compared to the one that is being fed. So in this case, there's no balance. But look at Sundowns, look at Al Ahly. They gave it their all against the likes of Borussia Dortmund. Good football that they displayed. So preparation, you can't falter them. But in terms of the playing fields, I think they are not that level, because the likes of Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, they get the best of the best in the whole world. So that's why you see how they fared in this tournament. I can't falter them. Thank you, Neto.
Those are the thoughts of Bongani Chuma. We also have a WhatsApp message from Teddy Sango from Matola in Mozambique. And he says, lack of experience. European football have more games in one period and more competitions. We need this. Sorry, I can't write very well in English. But hey, Teddy, you've done super well. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Let's take another voice note from Charles Cicero from the south of Johannesburg.
Good day, sports fans. Charles here from Naturina, South Africa. Thank you, NETO, for the opportunity. Thank you, Africa at Play. Yes, the Club World Cup is a stage where you compete with the elites of football. I think the African teams represented the continent very well. In terms of what needs to be done moving forward, is just to build confidence and concentration. At key moments during the games, African teams lost concentration, and that is why we didn't progress from the group stages into the knockout rounds. But I think that's a learning curve, and we will fix that moving forward. Thank you, Africa at Play. Enjoy a blessed Saturday.
16:11 Central African Time. At key moments, the African team lost concentration. Those are the thoughts of Charles Cicero, who is a football development coach, and that is a valid point indeed. In modern sport, it doesn't matter the sporting code. Any mistake you commit when you play against a prolific side, they will take full advantage of that mistake. You will get punished, and let's hope that our African teams will learn to minimize those mistakes. Let's take one more voice note from Yusuf Vivieri from East Africa, Tanzania.
Greetings and greetings. Good afternoon, Africa at Play. With this first edition of FIFA Club World Cup 2025 that happens in USA, that's happening in USA right now at the moment, is true, to be honest with you. African clubs that they're there, like Wydad, Al Ahly, and Club Tunis, and Mamelodi Sundowns, all of them, all in all, if you group them, they did not do well. But except for Mamelodi Sundowns, that they collected a maximum point at least from, they got a win from one game when they play with the Royal Diamond or something. But also, Sundowns, I think if they could have played a little bit much better, I was more satisfied with their performance, to be honest with you. They performed the highest level. They tried their level best. I don't know what happened that day with Williams, the goalkeeper that we trust and stuff like that, in that game against Dortmund, Borussia Dortmund, especially the equalizing game. Oh my God, that goal devastated me, honestly. After Sundowns took a lead, if they could have just been a little bit more hard, I think they could have gotten a result even in their last game. But I don't know, man. But all in all, I can say, just to summarize it, to sum it up, is I think lack of preparation. Yes, and of course, I don't think a lot of teams that they're playing there right now, they had like proper preparation for this competition, and everybody, I think they just took it like a friendly. But now, as the competition goes, now we can see that teams are pulling muscles. So lack of preparation, yes, that's what I can say it a lot. But also the standard of soccer. You can see the difference between the standard of soccer in Africa and in Europe and in South America. You know, all that you can see that is quite different. We still play the soccer as if we worship them, as if we give them too much respect. I think African teams, they're giving too much respect to other teams, especially from Europe, by which is 11 against 11. You know, I don't know what's wrong nowadays with the players in the game. As long as you see Ronaldo, Messi there and whatnot and stuff like that, then you feel like, you know what, they're just entitled to pass through you and to score against you or something, you know, which I think is a very, very, how can I call it, inferiority complex kind of thing that we have. But also, if you look at it, more of African teams, they're just comfortable to pass the ball around without making any progress going forward, except for Mamelodi Sundowns. That's what I'm saying. If maybe the coach could have gotten the lineup like proper from the first time, from the first game, I think Mamelodi Sundowns, they could have gotten much better results. Yusuf Ivere, Johannesburg. Love you, man, for the love of the game. You know, man, the passing of Diogo Jota, to be honest with you, rest in peace. My condolences to him and his family and his kids. We lost one hell of a player, one hell of a goal scorer, goal pusher. I think is a well-proven goal pusher that really will miss watching him in the next season. Yusuf Ivere, Johannesburg.
16:15 Central African Time. Those are the thoughts of Yusuf Vivieri, also sharing his tribute to the fallen hero, the footballer from Liverpool in the United Kingdom, Diogo Jota, who passed on due to a car crash. A Lamborghini crashed, and he was traveling with his brother, who is also a footballer. Two great footballers lost just like that. May their awesome souls rest in peace. 28-year-old and a 25-year-old. Very young indeed. Such is life. We were never taught how to deal with this kind of tragedies, and we urge all the footballers out there who are blessed with fast machines to take it easy, because akutsutsuma ayikutlasa. That's how they say in Xitsonga or in Shangaan. Akutsutsuma ayikutlasa. Rushing does not mean you are getting to your destination. So take it easy out there. 16:15 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are here in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Please do visit our Channel Africa website where you can access our podcasts that you might have missed out on in terms of the conversations we had. You can go to Channel Africa website, click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you can click on more and access those conversations. Let's now take you to West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria, where Tony Robani is standing by to update us with the latest in Nigerian sport.
As the 0 hour approaches swiftly, record 9-time Women's Africa Cup of Nations champions Nigeria Super Falcons and their handlers have assured that they will come back with a trophy. Many Nigerian soccer fans believe them more than their male counterparts, the Super Eagles. The women have built trust with their consistency and unparalleled dominance in Africa and have qualified for the FIFA Women World Cup without stressing Nigerians like the men's team do. The Super Falcons have raked up 48 wins from 61 games across 12 editions of the final since 1998. But the team's aura of invisibility has faded in recent years despite remaining the top-ranked side in Africa. After falling short in 2022, enduring the heartbreak of a semi-final defeat, the Super Falcons returned to Morocco on Sunday to play Tunisia in their first match of AFCON 2024. They aptly tagged Mission X, that's La Decima. It means that they are gunning for the 10th title. Coach Justin Madugu, who took over from Randy Waldrum in September following their exit from the 2024 Olympic Games, believes the Super Falcons can reclaim their crown. He has asked Nigerians to continue to support the team as they, in turn, do everything to reward them with the title. Coach Justin Madugu speaks.
For their consistent support for the Super Falcons, they have always expressed a lot of confidence in the team, and they have given their fullest support to the team in any way possible. We wish that that continues, and we on our part are doing our best to make sure that that confidence reposed in the team is sustained, and we'll try as much as possible to meet up with their expectations. Let them just continue to trust and support the team, pray for the team, and wish the team well.
Madugu's confidence is boosted by the experienced squad at his disposal. Ashisha Oshola, the 6-time African Women's Player of the Year, 4-time WAFCON winner Francisca Odega, and Chiamaka Nadozie, twice named the continent's best goalkeeper, are all included for the delayed 2024 tournament. Coach Madugu also explained why he included 2 dual nationality attackers, Chiomo Okafor and Rinshola Babajide, in the Super Falcons squad, leaving out fast-rising striker Gift Monday, who has proven her mettle in several games for the Falcons. However, Madugu insists he has made the right choices in all departments of the squad, especially in attack, where he believes Okafor and Babajide could jolly well be the surprise package that will help Nigeria claim a historic 10th African title and justify their Mission X campaign. Okafor, who dumped her opportunity of steering for her mother's country, Malawi, comes with a strong pedigree from playing with the University of Connecticut in the USA, while Babajide previously played at youth level for England, where she shot to prominence in the shades of Liverpool ladies, as well as with Millwall, Watford and Brighton. With both players now confirmed to don Nigeria's green-white-green at impending WAFCON, Madugu believes he has jokers that can spring surprises on Tunisia, Botswana and Algeria in their group, as well as against other teams later. Reliable midfielder Christy Uchebe says the players are ready to go. Christy Uchebe speaks.
The teams are catching up, so it's not just the Super Falcons. We are going there to compete, and I know my teammates, we are ready. Preparation from our club side and the last game we play, I think we are ready to go. It's just to keep pushing, focus and determined. Skipper Rashidat Ajibade said that it's not going to be a walk in the park, as other teams also have their ambitions. Rashidat Ajibade speaks.
For the Mission X, but the most important thing for us as a team is effort, enjoy, show what we've got, and keep building on what we've already built on before. And I mean, just keep showing that we are amazing players with talented athletes. So we're all excited to be in this tournament, and with all due respect to all my sisters competing in this tournament, I mean, it's not going to be an easy tournament to say, we're playing Information X, we're all positive about it for the tournament, but it's, as my sisters already said, it's not going to be an easy one. It's a very big tournament. So a lot of improved team, a lot of good, talented athletes, the likes of Barbara Banda, the likes of Jennifer, and a lot of players, you know. So we are not saying, yeah, it's going to be an easy cruise, no. But the most important thing for us as a team, as a Falcons team, is to just go up, show up, and be the best version of ourselves in that tournament and show what we've got as a team. Yeah, the team is doing their best. We've been preparing well. We're preparing. We're still, the team is work in progress. It's not perfect yet. But yeah, we still keep putting every process together to make sure we have a formidable team for the tournament.
And outside the camp of the Super Falcons, their fiercest rivals, Bayana coach Desiree Ellis, is leading the South Africa's women national team as title contenders, not just defending champions. While they are the reigning champions, Ellis says they are approaching the tournament with the mindset of any other contender, emphasizing that the competition has evolved. Desiree Ellis speaks.
That yes, we're the defending champions, but we also said that we are contender like everyone else. Everyone going to this tournament has an ambition to win it, and we are no different. We're under no illusions, the tag on our backs. But I think the experience of having been there, knowing how to get over that hurdle, I think with the players that we have left from the last squad, will hold us in good stead. Yes, you say a newish squad, but some didn't go to AFCON, but some went to the World Cup. So there's two types of experiences that you get. You know, Panolo's new, very new, Ronaldo's very new, just to mention two. But Panolo's been with us on a few occasions, and obviously we've watched her now. She made a debut and scored this fantastic goal, got injured and we didn't see her for a while. So also played for our youth national teams, and that has really helped because not the other day, I had a conversation with the coach of the under-17 team. So we regularly stay in contact to make sure that who's the next one coming up, whether they're U17 or U20. I've been in contact with Coach Maud as well, because she has the qualifiers coming up next. So it's really, really important. So not really a newish squad as to say, but you know, only 14 players from the last record.
The Super Falcons will be champions of Africa again because of the talent of the players and not the coaching, according to former coach Randy Waldron. The Super Falcons are gunning for a 10th WAFCON title in Morocco and will be led by interim coach Justin Madugu. Texan Waldron led Nigeria to finish fourth at the previous WAFCON, also staged in Morocco. He has now seriously questioned the quality of the coaching the team will enjoy at Morocco 2024. The players from the World Cup and Olympics can get the job done, Waldron said in an interview. The players' talent and not the coaching at this level can help them regain the championship. Host Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire will be well organized. Randy Waldron speaks.
Right players. I think the players are good enough on their own that they can win it. I think there's enough talent there based off of what was built from the World Cup and the Olympics that those players will find a way to get the result because they're hungry to go regain the title. I think they can do that in spite of the coaching because I don't think that's there and I don't think it's at the level it needs to be to help you win on the world stage. But I think the players' talent is enough. If the right players are called in, then I think they can. If the wrong mixture of players are called in, then I think it could be a struggle because I think Morocco's going to be very well organized. I think Ivory Coast with that coach, I think will be very organized as well. And you know, the other teams are always difficult anyway, no matter how good the coaching is or not. Zambia, Cameroon, Ghana, those are always, it's Africa, right? They're always wars just because of the competitiveness between the countries. So, you know, I'm holding out hope for the players that they can get that done.
The Super Falcons have the quality to win a record-extending 10th title at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, according to former striker Stella Mbachu. Justin Madugu's side, alongside holders South Africa, host Morocco, Zambia and Ghana are the favorites to lift the title. The Super Falcons underline their readiness for the competition with a 3-1 thumping of Black Queens of Ghana in a friendly in Nigeria before leaving for Morocco. They held Portugal to a 0-0 draw in Lisbon in their previous friendly. Mbachu is now backing the team to go all the way in Morocco. The Super Falcons will win every game at the WAFCON. They will not lose any game all in the tournament. You will say they will come home with a trophy, she said. Nigeria will face Tunisia Botswana and Algeria in Group B at the WAFCON 2024 finals. They opened their campaign against Tunisia in Casablanca on Sunday. Stella Mbacho speaks.
In as much as we think we've not had enough preparation, but all of those teams in our group, they shouldn't, pose a threat to us. As a Nigerian, if I'm being patriotic, I would say Nigeria will go all the way to winning.
And so much optimism and, of course, permutations on the Falcons. Let's tell you that head coach Aliu Zuberu has defined his objectives as Nigeria's under-20 boys Flying Eagles resume camping in Abuja ahead of the upcoming Wafubi under-20 boys tournament to be staged in Ghana. We are taking proactive measures to ensure that the challenges we encountered previously are addressed squarely. My assistants and myself are very much aware of the issues related to the team's attacking prowess, and we are making concerted efforts to rectify the situation. The tournament in Ghana offers us a good window to showcase a few more players, and we will grab that opportunity. We intend to use the matches as preparation for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals in Chile. Two-time FIFA World Cup runners-up Nigeria will be among Africa's 4 representatives at the 24th FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals scheduled for Chile, 27th September to 19th October. Others are South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt. The Wafubi Under-20 boys tournament will take place in Ghana from 10th to 23rd July, with the Flying Eagles to play in Group A alongside hosts Ghana and Benin Republic. Their first match is against Ghana on 10th July before they play Benin Republic on 13th July. Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Niger Republic, and Togo make up Group B. Coach Aliu Zuberu speaks.
The goal in preparation for the Wafubi Invitational that is coming up in Ghana, that is starting on the 10th of this month. We are back in camp. It's going to help us to have the correct evaluation of the new players that are coming to the team, because some few players are coming to join us, and you cannot just assess and know the level of the player just by mere training. And a competition like this can be of help. So it will make us evaluate the players to know which level are they. Can they really fit into what we are looking for? So that is the advantage of the competition.
And now we turn to basketball to inform you that defending women's Afro basketball champions, the Tigress of Nigeria, will begin their title defense against Rwanda on July 26th, the opening day of the competition in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, which runs from July 26th to August 3rd, 2025. The Nigerian ladies, who are also drawn in Group D with Mozambique, will play the Mozambicans on Monday, July 28th, to decide who tops the group going into the quarterfinals, which begin on July 30. The winners of the 4 groups will qualify automatically for the quarterfinals, while the second and third teams in each group will play a qualifying series to determine who joins the group leaders in the last 8. Group A consists of hosts Côte d'Ivoire, Angola, and Egypt. Group B has Mali, Cameroon, and South Sudan, while Group C and D have Senegal, Uganda, and Guinea, as well as Nigeria, Rwanda, and Mozambique, respectively. Reigning champions, the Tigress, who are chasing a record-extending 7th Afro basketball title and 5th in a row, will be looking to recover from a quarterfinal exit at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. And now we beam our satellite on football and tell you that the Executive Committee of the Nigeria Football Federation has opted to extend the tenure of the present boss of the Nigeria Premier Football League, NPFL, Nigeria National League, NNL, and the Nigeria Nationwide League 1, NLO, till the end of tenure of the present NFF administration headed by Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Guzo. The tenure of the present NFF board will come to an end on 29 September 2026, having taken office on 30th September 2022. By this decision, the boards headed by Honorable Gbengele Gbeleye for NPFL, Chief George Alo, NNL, and Silas Alegara, NLA, will now continue in office until September 29th, 2026. The NFF Executive Committee commended the body of work of each of the 3 boards in the past 2 years and charged them to commit even more efforts to delivering better package and more attractive leagues that football managers and stakeholders in the country and the continent at large will be proud of, while resolving to progressively introspect and innovate for the good of the game. However, the NFF Executive Committee has deferred the decision on the board of the Nigeria Women Football League, headed by Mrs. Nkechi Nneka Obi, to a later date. The lifespan of the boards of the league, put in place on 1st July 2023 on a 2-year mandate, came to an end on Monday, 30th June 2025. Former Nigerian international Mutiu Adegboju has expressed concern over the ongoing public spat between Samson Siasia and John Mikel Obi, stating is detrimental to Nigerian football. Adegboju believes the public airing of grievances, particularly regarding alleged bribery and financial issues, is unnecessary and reflects poorly on the sport. He suggests that the Nigeria Sports Commission should intervene and investigate the matter to bring clarity and closure. Samson Siasia, the coach of Nigeria's 2016 Olympic football team, denied claims made by John Mikel Obi that he paid for the team's flight tickets to Brazil. Siasia stated that Mikel did not pay for the flights and challenged him to produce a receipt to support his claim. Siasia clarified that while Mikel may have contributed to some hotel expenses, he was certain Mikel did not pay for the team's flights from the United States to Brazil. The accusation and counter-accusations have degenerated to Siasia recently accusing Mikel's agent of offering a bribe during a qualification match. Mikel in response stated Siasia's claims were false and that Siasia was being petty about money. Adegboju, a respected figure in Nigerian football, voiced his worry about the public nature of the dispute. He believes that such public disagreements between a coach and a player, especially regarding sensitive issues like bribery and finances, can negatively impact the image and morale of Nigerian football. Mutiu Adegboju speaks.
All these things they are saying, both of them, I think it's high time all these things stop because of collateral damage that all these things can cause. I don't know when all these things happen, whether who is right or who is wrong. But it has passed. Mikel Obi has played, he has served Nigeria and all that, and nobody will be saying that he has not served or he has not played well to qualify. Samson Siasia has served Nigeria, he has coached the team, and they have done well. So I think it's time we stop all this thing because it looks thinking to US and not good for public.
Many Nigerian soccer fans are optimistic that the Super Eagles can still qualify for the 2026 World Cup in the USA, Canada, and Mexico if the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, docks South Africa 3 points. The Lesotho Football Association has formally requested FIFA to deduct points from South Africa's Bafana World Cup qualifying campaign due to their late fielding of an ineligible player, Tebo Mokene, in the match against Lesotho. Mokene was reportedly serving a suspension for accumulated yellow cards, which would have made him ineligible for the match. The Lesotho FA has asked FIFA to apply its rules fairly and deduct the points. The Secretary General of Lesotho Football Association, Mokosi Muhapi, says they are hopeful that FIFA will stick by its rules and deduct points from South Africa. Nigeria stands to benefit if World Soccer Ruling Body docks the points from South Africa. Mokosi Muhapi speaks.
First of all, the Lesotho Football Association is a member of FIFA who is in good standing, and we are obligated, therefore, to protect the integrity of sport. And we are also obligated to assist FIFA in protecting the integrity of the game. Now, we are merely saying, FIFA, live and die by your regulations. And if you have precedents where you have deducted points before, on matters that are very similar to the one that is the subject today, do so that then we know your notion of fair play is applied irrespective of who is the perpetrator in this instance.
According to FIFA World Cup qualifying rules, a player is ineligible to play a subsequent match after accumulating 2 yellow cards. If the disciplinary issues goes the way everybody thinks it should go, because we too as Nigeria have suffered the same fate before. So if that happens, it means the next 4 games are still in our hands. If we win our next 4 games, we can qualify, Chairman of National Sports Commission, NSC, Alhaji Shehu Diko said. Sunday Adeleye, former technical director of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and past national athlete, says that Favour Phili was unfairly treated. Adeleye condemned recent insinuations from many quarters that Ofili was switching nationality to Turkey because of money. It goes beyond money. She was unfairly treated and abandoned when she was preparing her landmark events at the Olympics. Sunday, Adeleye speaks.
It's a sad one, and it's a very big loss for us as a country, because Ofili has gotten to the apex of her career as a young, smart, vibrant, fast athlete. A whole lot of people have not been fair to that poor girl. Because first things first, put yourself in her shoes. What happened to you, what happened to her in Tokyo and in Paris happens to you. Or if she's your daughter, what would you say? The issue was not properly managed. Even if it happened like that, I should believe that there are ways that this thing can be sorted, can be resolved. But not showing the girl as if she's nobody, and then what? If you go, what happens? Oh, she's leaving because of money. Was there no issue before the money? So why are we not talking about the issue how she was ill-treated? Do you know what it means to prepare for Olympics? It's a cycle of 4 years, so you've wasted 8 years of that girl's life where she wants to achieve landmark performance, not just for herself, for the country.
And in the same vein, Nigeria's first and only individual gold medalist at the Olympic Games, Chioma Ajunwa, has advised Athletics Federation of Nigeria President Tonobo Okowa to learn from his first term in office, where many errors that led to favor Ofili's predicament happened. Chioma Ajunwa speaks.
That if I were Mr. Okowa, I should have learned my lesson, and I will not be able to listen to certain advice. I will not like to entangle myself with a certain group of people. And, so his first tenure should have been a very big lesson, to him. So if he come back and start dwelling in that area, dwelling with those kind of group of people again, that means whatever that happens, nobody will say it's a mistake. It will be a deliberate action.
And that's the size of Sports Roundup in Nigeria. For Channel Africa Sports, Tony Ubane reports.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802. Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you'll be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Line ho, uyu line lelo mana wanzelu. Line ho,
uyu line lelo mana wanzelu. Ukaja mama wa amatengazaje kusesa bakomo pama.
With Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money. Africa in business. 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6. We put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to Eastern Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika. 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning,
16:42 Central African Time, awesome African sounds, Namadingo featuring Kides Chalamanda. We now welcome to Africa at Play and Sungu Jolino to find out more about what's coming up on Mix Vibration. You can never experience what you experience on Channel Africa, where we broadcast to the world with 5 essential, exciting languages: Portuguese, English, French, Chinyanja, and Kiswahili. All 5 languages also spoken in different parts of the African continent. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, eh bien nous aurons un très bon moment de musique comme d'habitude. Nous avons une très bonne musique pour tous les Africains qui supportent. Et non seulement ça, nous avons un invité avec qui nous allons discuter sur l'éducation des enfants en Afrique. Eh bien lui c'est un professeur d'université, Ezekiel Bamoupalé. Avec lui on va discuter autour de ces bons sujets. Donc ça sera un moment merveilleux pour tous nos auditeurs parsemés en Afrique. Merci.
Merci. That's Jolene Nsungu. You can look forward to an exhilarating edition of Mix Vibration coming up just after Africa at Play says goodbye. 16:44 Central African Time. They say the one who eats the last is a king. And we welcome Tony Tonero Ubani to this conversation as we wrap up the proceedings on Africa at Play, our legendary correspondent from West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. So Ubani, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, the African Velvet Voice. How do you know I'm from a royal family? Indeed, I am one.
I know for sure, I can tell. I'm very prophetic. You should know that by now.
Honestly, you are, and indeed, thank you so much. I'm happy to join you.
Thank you so much, Big Brother. Let's get on to it. Nigerians still mourn the late Super Eagles legendary goalkeeper Peter Rufai. Talking about Peter Rufai, it's just sad stories out there. We also got to hear about another footballer who was traveling from Spain back to England, playing for Liverpool, Diogo Jota, who passed on with his brother with a Lamborghini crashing. 28-year-old and 25-year-old. 2 great footballers lost just like that, plus our very own Peter Rufai from the African continent. Your reaction?
Yeah, Neto, it was very heartbreaking, I must say. It came to us in Nigeria. It was a very big shock. We were all mourning that of, Liverpool player Diego Jota, and indeed everybody was just so sad about the death, including that of his younger brother, and also realizing the fact that he just got married about 10, 12 days ago. And then just like a boat out from the blues, that of Peter Rufai hit Nigeria. And of course, Nigerians were all in sadness. Almost everybody just mourning and then remembering, what Peter Rufai did for Nigeria. He was exemplary. He was a legend. And of course, he was on the quiet side. The young man had, after retirement, came back to Nigeria, to start an academy. He called it Star Sports. And, he has really been doing this. I remember the last time I met him, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Neto, he was very unrecognizable. He was very frail. And we just called him his nickname, Dodo Mayana, and he will reply, Mayana Dodo. Well, now just asking, and then he was asking me, I hope you're going to be my MC when I launch my book. And that book was meant to be launched on July 19th, and I was to be the MC of that book launch. That's exactly how close I am to Rufai, and indeed, everybody has really been very, very sad about it. But I just remember that, just to refresh your mind, that Rufai made his debut for the then Green Eagles, as they were called, in a friendly match in December 1981, and won the Africa Cup of Nations silver in 1984 and 1988, before Nigeria now swept to glory in the continental final Tunisia in 1994. He was the first choice goalkeeper in the three championships, and the charismatic and dazzling goalkeeper also kept goals for Nigeria in the 1994 and 1998 FIFA World Cup finals. The Super Eagles made the round of 16 on both occasions and dedicated his post-retirement days to discovering and mentoring young players. He also served as the coordinator of the Nigerian under-23 team at a time. Apart from his memorable outings with the Super Eagles, Rufai was an extraordinary figure at Lagos Club stationery stores, with whom he reached the final of the Africa Cup Winners' Cup competition in 1981. He also played for famous Scorpions in Nigeria and played professionally in Republic of Benin, Belgium, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. Like I did mention earlier, his book, he was talking about that, before death, bear these fangs. Rufai's death marks yet another loss from Nigeria's celebrated 1994 squad, the team that not only conquered Africa but also announced the arrival on the global stage by reaching the last 16 on their World Cup debut in the United States. He becomes the sixth member of that, side to pass away, following the late Stephen Keshi, Rashidi Yekini, Wilfred Agbonivare, Thompson Oliha, and Uche Okafor. Neto, these are very, very popular names, and these are people, that have made the Super Eagles what they are as it is now. But then remember them, we remember sacrifice, we remember passion, remember patriotism at its best when these players were playing. But what do we owe them? We just pray that God Almighty, will grant their souls eternal rest. Neto.
May the souls of all the fallen heroes rest in peace. And Ubani, as we move on, Ahmed Musa recently was calling for the reformation of Nigerian football. Now he's been appointed the general manager of Kano Pillars. He's got to demonstrate that he's not a shoemaker without a shoe.
Absolutely, Neto. Musa is an enigma. One other person has really had the niche for himself. After his sojourn in Europe and elsewhere in the world, Musa decided to come back to Nigeria to play, for a Nigerian club side. Remember, he has not yet retired from the Super Eagles, and of course, he has 101 caps for Nigeria. He is still very strong, and of course, that also showed, when he took his third wife. A man like Musa that can just do that. Maybe Kano State Governor Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, approved the appointment of management boards for Kano Pillars Football Club as part of the ongoing efforts to further strengthen the team and enhance its performance in the upcoming Nigerian Premier Football League season. This follows the expiration of the one-year term earlier granted to the board, which successfully led to the team to finish ninth on the NPFL table. The governor's spokesman, Sanusi Batu Dawakin Tofa, revealed that after several consultative meetings with key stakeholders, it was collectively agreed to reappoint most of the members existing board for another year with strategic adjustments aimed at boosting performance. And, we were really elected, when the governor appointed, as the chairman of the general manager of Kano Pillars. This follows, the appointment also of Ali Mohammed Omar as the chairman, Salusi Mohammed member, and so many others. NATO. But I must say that that's a very big role being given to Ahmed Musa, and we do know that yes, he still plays for Kano Pillars, one of the oldest players in the Nigerian league. But then, age has nothing to do with his performance. In line with global best practices, the board also the appointment of renowned player, that's Musa as the general manager of Kano Pillars. This strategic move is expected to leverage with his wealth of experience and leadership to reposition the club as a formidable contender in the league, NATO. That's a very good one coming, and then we hope that he can combine this as a player and also as a general manager.
We are talking to Tony Robani, our correspondent based in West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. All things Nigerian and West African sport. So, Ubani, it is really happening in Nigeria. 43 countries, 937 athletes and officials set for the third African Under-18, Under-20 Athletics Championships in Abeokuta. And tomorrow we will be talking to the Nigerian Athletics Federation President Chief Tonobok Okowa on the preparation. So what have you seen on the ground, and how is Nigerian athletics under Chief Tonobok Okowa's leadership?
Yeah, so since Sports Commission, I think part of their renewed efforts and rebranding sports in Nigeria is also by hosting. There are so many stadia in Nigeria, most of them, lack activities. And I think that since they came on board, activities are just bringing almost everywhere in Nigeria. And that, to me, also helps, the some local talents discover. And they are doing well so far. And I must say that that's really been very good. Tonobok Okowa, the president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, has been in a saddle of athletics, and of course he has seen, to the rise of athletics in Nigeria, that unfortunately for some time, there has been a lot of question marks, and that has somehow trailed him. If you remember all the noise of about Favour Philly and some athletes that were also disqualified that could not partake at the Tokyo Olympics. Tonobok was the president of Athletics Federation. Those are just the black spots about him. But I think in terms of welfare of athletes, Tonobok Okowa stands tall because he is one who believes in the welfare of athletes. Because I remember that he did say, that the welfare of athletes has always been his highest priority, and he demonstrated it beyond reasonable doubt. But unfortunately, some of these are very big mistakes that make some athletes, try to switch, especially Favour Opili, has just been, the black spot on that Tonobok Okowa. I remember him saying, that he cannot do everything because there are some technical officials and so many other officers of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, but as it is, we say that who has a big head must equally have a big shoulder and a big neck to carry the head. And indeed, he's the president of Athletics Federation of Nigeria. So far, so good, except for this minor incidents. Minor they appear, but then very, very big, because losing an athlete as somebody as big as Favour Philly has been a very big minus on the part of Tonobok Okowa, NATO.
Tony Robani, it is that time of the afternoon where we've got to say our goodbye. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us on Africa at Play on all things Nigerian sport. Have a great afternoon further.
Thank you so much, Neto. Before I go, let me tell you that Mission X is possible as the Super Falcons begin, their march towards realizing that tomorrow against Tunisia. In WAFCON, and of course they are all aiming at snatching the WAFCON trophy from Bayana. We wish them the best of luck.
Thank you so much. We will be experiencing that Women's Africa Cup of Nations that is kicking off tonight with a clash between the host nation, the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco, up against the Southern African side, the Copper Queens of Zambia. Let's now say goodbye because tomorrow is still a day. We will do it again, same place, same time at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central African time. A big thank you to our audiovisuals streaming team, that is Jabu Myakeni and Bonolo Chwani. Together with our social media guru, Dumise Lema, not forgetting our technical operator, Francis F.M. Masina, and my producer, Andisi Wefagimalu Zobona Mali. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati, Konyangazi, Mumka, Japandle Gonjani, Moyani, Vogo Vogo Tendele. Africa at Play, as Delele Shaya. Cheers.